Welcome to AmeenAcademy.com. Let us discuss about the real heroes of Indian freedom fighters, Kunjali Marakkars. In the popular history of early modern Kerala, the clan of the Marakkars had a very special role to play. Since the late 16th century, when the fourth and last Kunjali Marakkar, the head of the clan, who traditionally commanded the local navy, was captured and executed by the Portuguese with the support of the Zamorin of Calicut. The Marakkars have repeatedly featured in the ballads, folk songs, and stories prevalent among the Mapilas Muslims, championed as the face of resistance against Portuguese domination. They are also the heroes of the nationalist historians of the early 20th century, celebrated as the first defenders against imperialism. Now, let us discuss more about Kunjali Marakkars. The Kunjali Marakkars were a group of naval chiefs from the Marakkars family who defended the Indian coast against the Portuguese from 1520 to 1600. The Marakkars were Arab merchants who settled in the coastal region of India. They moved to Kochi for trade and then to Ponani when the Portuguese arrived. The title of Kunjali Marakkar was given to the Admiral of the fleet of Zamorin, the King of Calicut. The Kunjali Marakkars fought the Portuguese in the relentless war for 80 years. They were credited with organizing the first naval defense of the Indian coast. Legacy. The Kunjali Marakkars are celebrated in ballads, folk songs, and stories among the Mapilla Muslims. They are also seen as heroes by early 20th century nationalist historians. There is a temple in Madhavan-Kurichi, a small village near Manapad of the Coromandel coast that honors the Kunjali Marakkars. The temple features a painted image of a bearded Kunjali Marakkar. The Kunjali Marakkars have been featured in several films, including in 1667 Malayalam film Kunjali Marakkar and Marakkar, the Line of the Arabian Sea. Kunjali Marakkar was the title inherited by the Admiral of the fleet of King Samoothiri or Zamorin, the King of Calicut in present-day Kerala, India. There were four Marakkars whose war tactics defended against the Portuguese invasion from 1520 to 1600. The Kunjali Marakkars are credited with organizing the first naval defense of the Indian coast. These are inscriptions on the Kunjali Marakkars Memorial at Kottakkal, Vatakara. Origin of Marakkars. The Marakkars originate from the branch of Tamil-speaking merchants within the sea-forcing community who settled in Kochi. They were involved in trade and engaged in collaboration with the Portuguese. In 16th century, writer Zainuddin Makhdoom II, who wrote the Tulfatul Mujahideen, stated in 1524 that the Marakkars had turned against the Portuguese when the latter disrupted the former's trade network by purchasing spices and commodities directly from the local people in Kochi. This is the ancestral home of Kunjali Marakkar at Irinjal, Kottakkal near Calicut, now preserved as a museum. Kunjali Marakkar 1. Putti Ahmed Ali was the Admiral of Zamorin. He played a significant role in resisting the Portuguese expansions. In 1524, Zamorin Kingdom helped the Ceylonese king in his campaign to expel the Portuguese from Ceylon and reduce the Colombo fort with the help of Zamorin navy under the command of Ahmed Ali. In 1525, Portuguese established a fortress in Calicut. A fleet of Zamorin ships under the command of Kuti Ahmed Ali bombarded the fort. Later that year, entered the fort of Cochin, setting fire to number of Portuguese vessels and returned safely to Calicut. In 1525, Zamorin navy defeated Portuguese navy in the Battle of Chetuai River. Now we talk about against Kunjali Marakkars against the Portuguese Empire. The Kunjali Marakkar fort had rescued the Chinese boy called Chinali, who was said to have been enslaved on a Portuguese ship. The Kunjali was very fond of him and he became one of his most feared lieutenants. The Muslim and enemy of the Portuguese. The Portuguese were terrorized by the Kunjali and his Chinese right-hand man. Eventually, after the Portuguese allied with Calicut's Zamorin under Henry Furtado de Mendonça, they attacked the Kunjali and Chinali's forces, and they were handed over the Portuguese by the Zamorin after the reneged on a promise to let them go. Diego do Couto, the Portuguese historian, questioned the Kunjali and Chinali when they were captured. He was present. He was present when the Kunjali surrendered to the Portuguese and was described. One of these was Chinali, a Chinese who had been a servant at Malacca and said to have been the captive of Portuguese taken as a boy from a foster and afterwards brought to Kunjali, who conceived such an affection for him that he trusted with him everything. He was the greatest exponent of the Moorish superstition and enemy of the Christians in all Malabar, and for those taken captive at sea and brought thither, he invented the most executes kings of torture when he maltreated them. However, Decotos claimed that the tortured Christians was questionable since two other sources reported this and is dismissed as ridiculous. Now, the sword used by the Kunjali Marakkar at the mosque at Kottakkal Vatakara. The Kunjali Marakkar memorial erected by the Indian Navy at Kottakkal Vatakara. Marakkar Kota. Such a practice also prevailed in Calicut, registered in goods. Pirate called the system most admirable. Malabar pirates had 4 harbors under the ambits of the Samoothiri. There they built their galleys. These harbors were Montinju, that is Muttangal, Badara, that is Vadagara, Chombai, Chambal, and Kengeloti, Kaniyaramkottu. They were fortified only on the seaside under the patronage of Samoothiri, who granted these forts to Marakkar family who fortified them. These forts were 2 leagues from each other. Portuguese made multiple attempts to conquer these fortified forts without effect or to their own loss, mainly at Badara. Legacy of Kunjali Marakkar. There is a temple dedicated to Kunjali Marakkars at Madhavan Kurichi village in Thoothukudi district of Tamil Nadu, known as Perumal Temple. It is situated near to Manapad, which was a Portuguese stronghold in the 16th century. Villagers worship Marakkar as a deity and observe annual festivals. Stories of Marakkar are part of their Villupattu. The at Irinjal, the village about 35 kilometers north of Kozhikode, a small museum has been built in a hut that used to belong to the Marakkar family. with collection of ancient swords, cannibals, and knives. This is maintained by the State Archaeology Department. The Kunjali Marakkar Center for West Asian Studies at Calicut University is named as honor of Kunjali Marakkar. Now, in history of Kunjali Marakkar, the Vasco da Gama comes play with. Vasco da Gama arrival in 1497 changed the scenario for the Kunjali Marakkars, the naval commanders of the Zamorin king. The Portuguese befriended with the Cochin Raja to take over trade rights from the local Muslim community and destabilize the Zamorin. The Kunjali Marakkars were a group of seafarers from the Tamil country who fought the Portuguese in naval battles in the 16th century. They were known for their tactical aim and valor. So far, we discussed about the history of Kunjali Marakkar. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.